What is going on, everybody? What is going on? It is Friday, December 17th, 2021. So, y'all know that it is time for the live stream on the Rain in Real Time channel. If you have not done so already, please go ahead and smash that like button. I would greatly appreciate it. Make sure you go ahead and share this on all your various social media platforms. I would appreciate that also. If you are new, make sure that you subscribe to the channel and click that notification bell so you will be notified every time I go live on this channel, which is every single Friday at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, with the exception of, hold on, y'all. All right, y'all, I'm back. I had to take that call. But yeah, make sure y'all go ahead and subscribe if you haven't done so already. Hit that like button, share. Make sure the bell is turned on to all notifications. I would greatly appreciate it, even though sometimes the notifications don't be working. But y'all know how that is. And we're going to get started in about 9 minutes. So let's see, who do we have in here so far? Smoked, Yankee Buffalo Soldiers, Darlene, Janesta, Mark, what's going on? I hope y'all are doing well on this Friday afternoon / evening, however you want to put it. This was a pretty decent week for me. It started out kind of rough a little bit, but it ended off good. As y'all know, last Friday I couldn't have a show, but I ended up doing it on Saturday because I was having some issues with my car. My car was in the shop for the last week. Got it back yesterday. So I'm very excited about that. I had to drive around with a rental for over a week. Dealt with some incompetence with the people working on my car, but we got that handled and I got my car back. But that's why I couldn't go live last week on last Friday and had to go live unexpectedly on a Saturday. But that is what it is. Let's see who else we have in here. PD Chicago, Buzzer, Cam H1, Spidey, Tawana. Darlene said the weather's nice. The weather was unexpectedly nice here where I'm at. I'm like, is it December or is it early spring? Because the weather is like absolutely nice. Like it's like like where I'm at today, it was like 66. Like a couple days ago, it was in the 70s. I had to question whether or not we was in a winter month or a spring month. What's going on, Pinky JYB? And I don't know if any of y'all saw the poll that I put up on my main page on the community tab, basically saying that I'm gonna go back to the weekends, but only do one day because I still want to have at least one day to myself. And I said choose between Saturday and Sunday. Now, some people said, now, based on the poll results that I have so far, the majority of the people voted for Saturday. I think with Saturday, it was like 60 something percent, and Sunday was like 33 something percent. What I couldn't believe is that starting off, that just as many people was voting for Sunday rather than Saturday. So I have a huge decision to make. I'm trying to decide, what should I go off of, the majority vote, or should I go off of some of the explanations people gave? Because some people gave some very good explanations as to why I should do Sunday, because Sunday technically begins the week off. Saturday is like, that should be the day that you should have to yourself and not have to worry about uploading any content or anything like that. So I will definitely have a decision, and I'm gonna post it up in the community tab later on this evening, probably after the stream is over. But I am kind of leaning more towards, excuse me, having the Saturday be free and let the Sunday be the kickoff, since it is the beginning of the week, technically. Let's see. Sunlight, what's going on? Henry Jackson, what's going on? I'm glad y'all are all doing well, and y'all are all present and attentive right now in this chat. What's going on, Black Voltron? And let me give a huge shout out to Black Voltron right quick, because they always share my videos on Twitter. Like whenever I post it on Twitter, I always get a notification saying that they shared it on Twitter, like after I post it. So I'm definitely appreciative of them for doing that. What's going on, Jonathan? And what's going on, Don P. Ben? But I'm glad that everybody is here so far. We got about 5 more minutes. Let some more people roll on in. And we will go ahead and get started. Oh, no problem, Black Voltron. Like I said, I do it for y'all. That's why when I put up that poll asking, like, what day should I bring the videos back on as far as a weekend day goes, and people were saying I'm fine with whatever it is you're doing. I said I'm glad that you say that, but I always like to incorporate my subscribers into some of the things that I do when it comes to my channel, because y'all are the driving force behind my channel. So I feel like y'all have just as much input as myself. All I can do is just bring it to the forefront. I don't like to leave y'all in the dark, because then people say, "Oh, why didn't you let us know?" and everything like that, because that could happen. Joe said, "Looking forward to your movie review later this evening." Yes, I'm looking forward to your responses to my review as well. But yeah, I did see Spider-Man yesterday, and my review will be up this evening at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So I can't wait for y'all to see that. Jonathan said it's 65 here in ATL. What's so interesting? I've noticed that on the East Coast it's warm, but people who follow me who live on the West Coast or furthermore west say that it's cold. They said that it's like, I think in some part of California, someone had said that it was like 30 something degrees. No, it was cold. I forgot what the temperature was, but they said it was cold, colder than usual. But meanwhile, it seemed like we got West Coast weather, and the West Coast got East Coast weather. Janessa, you said, "What do I think about Kim in Minnesota?" What do you mean? I'm confused by the question. Like I said, it's 33 in Milwaukee, but it's 69 on a Wednesday. Donnie said it's about 60 where she's at. Someone said down south is summer year round. I bet. Jenna said, "Apologize. The cop in Minnesota." Are you talking about that Kim Potter, the one who shot the black guy last year? I'm gonna be honest, I haven't really been following the trial. I do hope they don't pull no funny stuff with that, but we shall see. Black Knight said, "What's going on? You expect snow in January on the East Coast, considering we are still having fall weather." Right. I'm gonna be honest though, this fall weather feels more like spring weather. So the fact that you put out there about snow, that kind of got me a little bit worried. Sunlight said, "I would gladly trade this heat for some cold weather." Well, you can have that, because I'm not a cold person. I don't like cold weather. I'm a spring baby, so I like pleasant, warm weather. Not hot or humid, but I like pleasant weather. Henry said, "I will say again, a huge thank you to the new Black media and the family. Appreciate all you guys do. Too many names to mention." Well, we appreciate you for watching, and we're glad that you are still here. Talking and grubbing, what's going on? Got 1 more minute, and we're going to go ahead and get started. Oh, that 1 minute went by fast, because it's now 4:10. So we are now about to go ahead and get started. What's going on, Didi? We're about to go ahead and get started with the show. I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen. So share the audio. And we're gonna go ahead and get started. And the first person that we're gonna talk about today is Bell Hooks, or as I like to call her, Hell Hooks. You know, she was a staunch feminist, anti-Black misandrist who passed away a couple days ago. I feel nothing, and I do mean absolutely nothing for her. I'm not even going to do a triple P on her. So, in case y'all are wondering, I'm not, because if I was, y'all probably would have got it like the next day. But I'm not doing a triple P on her. But I did want to talk about this post right here that I came across on Twitter that I shared on my page. And I posted it yesterday, and I said, this is a quote from that now dirt nap having anti-Black male misandrist Hell Hooks. And this is a quote from her book called Yearning, Race, Gender, and Cultural Politics. And it came from page 106. So this isn't something that somebody just typed up and made up. This is actually an excerpt from her book, and they even gave the page in which it came from. It says, no one can truly believe that the young Black males involved in the Central Park incident were not engaged in a suicidal ritual enactment of a dangerous masculinity that will ultimately threaten their lives, their well-being. I'm already pissed just reading that. Suicidal ritual enactment? Like, just reading that just sounds like some dark shit. If y'all don't know who Bell Hooks is, well, one, is probably a good thing you don't. But Bell Hooks, she hated Black men. Hold on, y'all. All right, y'all, I'm back. Sorry about that. But yeah, Bell Hooks was a staunch Black feminist, a blaKKKaren, as I've dubbed lately, who who basically, like I said, she had a staunch hatred for Black men. If you go and watch Professor Black Truth's Moment of Truth that he did yesterday, I think it was yesterday, he talked about her. I can't remember if he mentioned this part though, but he did talk about her. It goes on to say, if one reads again Michael Dyson's piece, The Plight of Black Men, focusing especially on the part where he describes the reason many young Black men form gangs, the sense of absolute belonging and unsurpassed love, it is easy to understand why young Black males are despairing and nihilistic. And she's talking about Michael Eric Dyson, by the way. And that's the excerpt she decided to pull from her book. Pull from his book. And she went on to say, and it is rather naive to think that if they do not value their own lives, they will value the lives of others. Is it really so difficult for folks to see the connection between the constant pornographic glorification of male violence against women that is represented, enacted, and condoned daily in the culture and the Central Park? And it came from her book, Yearning, Race, Gender, and Cultural Politics, page 106 of that book. So when I see people saying RIP to this woman and saying how much she did and whatnot, I'm looking at them completely sideways, because look at this shit right here. She put this in her book. And from what I heard, this book came out after they were exonerated. And they were all exonerated like back in the early 2000s. So it's not a book that reaches back to at the time period of when this occurred. But yeah, I feel absolutely nothing for her. I listen. You won't see me shed a tear over here for her. But that's how she felt about black men. And this is only the tip of the iceberg. There's so much more she has said, but we're not going to go into that. And of course, you know her little blaKKKaren juniors are going to praise everything that she says about black men, but let her say anything about black women, and then she's anti-black woman. But it's just the language that she used in this description is really cryptic. All right, you say you just saw her picture today. I can listen. I understand why you put that emoji. I would put the same thing too. That woman was hideous, just as hideous on the inside as she was out. But oh well, now she can't spew her nonsense anymore. Or maybe she can do it in the afterlife to someone who will listen to her. It is what it is. Well, let's go on to the next topic, and that is on Derek Chauvin. Derek Chauvin has entered a guilty plea following his conviction of being found guilty after he pled not guilty with George Floyd. Now, many people were excuse me. Now, many people, Darlene said, is she black or white? She's black. Bell Hooks was a black woman. Self-hating, but she was black. But now we are talking about Derek Chauvin, and he says that he wants to change his not guilty plea to guilty. And I was watching a video or a live stream that the one LVZ had did on his channel a couple days ago, and he said this is why he's doing it. Because I was trying to figure out myself, why was he doing it? Besides the obvious of probably trying to get lesser time or whatever the case may be. Some people even threw out there because it could thwart the cases of the other cops that was with him. But the one LVZ pointed something out in a little video that nobody was really talking about. And that part was, if y'all remember back in 2017, it had came out that Derek Chauvin had kneeled on this teenager's neck, the same way he did George Floyd. And with him being found guilty of what he did to George Floyd, he was going to go to trial for what happened with that boy back in 2017. And that they found him guilty of George Floyd. So 9 times out of 10, they was going to find him guilty of that too. So for him to come out with this guilty plea, part of the guilty plea agreement is that they would not have to go to trial with that 2017 case. So there is the reason why Derek Chauvin pled guilty. There it is. Because they would have probably they knew if he did, they would have found him guilty on that. That's more years he's going to get behind bars. Then let's not forget he still has that tax evasion stuff with his estranged wife that he still has to go to trial for as well. So he's not out of the woods yet. He's not out of the woods by a long shot. But this to entertain it just a little bit, I'm gonna go ahead and click on the link and kind of scroll through and see what they're talking about. See, here it is. It says Chauvin also pled guilty in a separate federal case in which he was accused of depriving the rights of a 14-year-old in Minneapolis for allegedly kneeling on the back and neck of a handcuffed, non-resisting teenager. As a part of the plea agreement, Chauvin faces a sentence of between 20 to 25 years in prison. Isn't that what he already got for George Floyd? It says prosecutors requested that he be sentenced to 25 years in prison to be served concurrently with his current 22.5-year sentence on state murder charges. So basically, because see, the thing is, he pled not guilty with George Floyd and he got found guilty. That's number one. So he's shook. He knows that if he goes to trial, which he most likely still is, if he goes to trial with the 14-year-old still pleading with that not guilty and he gets found guilty of that, he's going to get even more time. So they said even with the plea agreement, he gets found guilty, which hopefully he does, he still faces 20 to 25 years on top of the 22.5 year that he already has. So that's another 40 something years. That's 40 something years in total. It says the third degree murder and second degree manslaughter for Floyd's death and was sentenced to 22 years at prison. This is under Minnesota law. Chauvin will have to serve 2/3 of his sentence or 15 years. And then will be eligible for supervised release for the remaining 7.5 years, which is some bullshit. And see, the thing is, with that 15 years, what they're scared of is that other one I was just telling you about, he being found guilty. That means he's going to do more than 15 years. Separate from his state murder case, Chauvin was charged in 2 federal indictments related to his policing. He had pled not guilty to the federal charges in September. But on Wednesday, Chauvin appeared in court in St. Paul, Minnesota, dressed in an orange jumpsuit and admitted guilt. The hearing was not captured on video because cameras were not allowed in federal court. Members of the Floyd family were present in the courtroom as the unidentified juvenile Chauvin admitted to assaulting in 2017. I'm just kind of scrolling through, see, like picking stuff out. I'm not trying to read the entire thing. And that's hold on. Let me see. I saw that something about Marshall. It's so it says that the trial for the other 3 that's involved with Derek Chauvin is set for March of next year. I think people are going to be watching their trial, but not as heavily as they was watching Derek Chauvin's trial. But people are going to have their eye on it though. Right, Vulcan. He was nervous about getting more time. So they said, now is the time to enter that guilty plea. Because if you maintain that not guilty and you found guilty, which they've already found you guilty with George Floyd, you might want to, switch that up. Just in case you do get found guilty, you don't have to do as much time. Okay, now I'm going to shift from Derek Chauvin to Joe Madison. And this guy right here gets on my goddamn nerves. Put a 1 in the chat if y'all know who Joe Madison is. Put a 1 in the chat if y'all know who Joe Madison is. Or heard of him. Talking said 1. Spidey said maybe 1. Henry Jackson said one. Somebody said one. So most of y'all are familiar with him. But Joe Madison, he's a radio host. He has his own radio show on one of them FM radio stations, like satellite radio. And he just talks about different things on his show. And he is like a staunch Democrat. Like staunch, like annoying Democrat. And basically a few weeks ago, he had announced on his show that he was going to do a hunger strike because of everything that's going on, like with voting rights and everything like that. I'm like this guy gets on his show and he talks about wanting to do a hunger strike about voting rights and everything like that, and with the Democrats. And it's funny because it's like he critiques the Democratic Party without going overboard, but when he goes in and talks about the Republicans, oh, he be going in. I'm like, Donald Trump is not in office anymore. Joe Biden is in, and he is horrible, especially for black people. And you doing this pointless hunger strike don't mean shit to him. He probably don't even know who the hell you are. Yes, PD Chicago. That's exactly who I'm talking about. And he actually thinks that this is actually doing something. It's really not. Even people who are fans of him are saying, you don't need to be doing something like this at your age. You need to really be looking out for your health. So he's getting even critique from people who are fans of his work. And it does look silly. People's like, so you will go on a hunger strike for voting rights, but you wouldn't go on one for reparations. I've never even heard him even talk about a reparations conversation on his show. He's always talking about voting rights, register to vote, do this and vote that. Listen, in voting rights, last I checked, black people do have a right to vote in this country. Last I checked. Bad case said, "Oh, Miss, I can starve the world. I can change the world by starving myself to death." Pretty much, it's pointless. It's a pointless act to me. To me, it is. He need to go and sit down somewhere with that. Vulcan said Tariq just talked about him. Did he talk about him in a video? Because if he did, I want to go watch it because I'm curious to see what he has to say about this. And not only that, but Joe Madison is rude as hell. I don't know if y'all ever had the chance to listen to his show, but sometimes when people be talking, he be trying to cut them off if they don't agree with a talking point that he has. He's one of them people. I can't stand people like that. That don't allow people to get their expression out. Now, if you're going overboard, then I got to pull the plug. But if you're just going not let them get a word in edgewise, then what's the point of calling in? Okay, I'm gonna have to go check that out because I want to hear what he has to say about him and about this. Jonathan said he looks rude. He is rude. Like I said, if you've never had an opportunity to just listen to one of his shows, just listen, and you'll see. I bet you would, one, after he gets rude with a caller, you will not probably want to listen to the rest of it, or two, if you manage to get through the whole show, you would not want to listen again. But I guess if he wants to go on with his little hunger strike, he can go right on ahead. But I'm telling you, it's like beating a dead horse. It's crazy because he's doing this for this, but then still gets on there and complains about the stuff that they're not doing. I'm like, then why are you even doing this? Listen, take your old ass down to McDonald's and get you something to eat. Man. Now y'all getting me hyped up when y'all said Tariq went in on him. I'm gonna have to go find that stream, and I'm gonna go find it after my live stream is over and just listen to that part if I don't listen to the whole thing. And you said this was recent, so this when you say recent, are you talking about his recent live stream that he just recently did, in the last couple of days? I hope it's that recent because I don't feel like having to reach back. Because like I said, I'm gonna go and look for it after I'm done with my stream, so I can have a good laugh. Because I know he clowned him, and rightfully so. I couldn't go on his show. I could not call into his show because I would literally probably start cussing his ass right the fuck. Man, I don't even care if I'm on mute. I was like, the minute that I feel like he's about to get loud or get rude, I'm cussing him out. I don't care if it's an age gap. It's a respect thing. Okay, perfect. Bad Case said it was his last one, so that's good for me to know that I can just go and look at the last one and just kind of scroll through and see if I can, and go and find it. Bet. But yeah, he's one of them people. Like, he would annoy you with how rude he gets and how fast he gets rude with people. Thursday night. So that was yesterday. Cool. Perfect. I will go and find it. I will go in search of that. P. Chicago said the day he posted. Yeah, he definitely did. He was asking for that roast. I know I did. Jonathan Richardson, I know this is unrelated, but Herschel Walker is trying to run for Senate down here in Georgia. I don't know how far his little race is going to go because from what I heard, he lied about going to what school was that? Because somebody posted it up on Twitter. Herschel Walker apparently lied about going to some school. And don't get me started on his extra fruitier than a fruit cake of a son of his in that video he made at that gas pump while wearing a whole Givenchy hoodie. A hoodie that probably cost like $1,000. But yeah, Herschel Walker, like, they might as well dead his shit in the water because so much stuff just comes out about him. But then again, maybe he might actually succeed because most politicians, if you don't have scandal behind you, then why even run? But Christian Walker or Christina Walker, I was watching a live stream last night where they was playing a clip of him being the most extracurricular person that you could find in the world. That thing, because I can't call him or call it by anything. Now I sound like them pronoun people. I can't refer to this person as it. I mean, as he. He or it sounds like something that came from another universe. Cringe. He sounds like a freaking Karen. He probably wants to be one. My goodness. That dude probably lives inside of the Domino sugar plant. What's going on, Troy? But yeah, the Herschel Walker's son he's definitely touched in more ways than one. But Herschel Walker, yeah, I think he's pretty much done for. Jonathan's at UGA, University of Georgia. Yeah, talking about he went there or something like that. Why would you lie about going to a school when they can just pull your records up and you're a public figure? Like, they wouldn't pull that up. Because to my knowledge, Herschel Walker isn't the sharpest tool in the shed. And he's not. He looks like an idiot. His son is a whole buffoon. But anyway, I didn't even mean to get onto that. But somebody in this chat threw me off. But it is what it is. Let's move on to the next story. And that's this one coming out of North Carolina involving this Jonathan Chang who was trying to pull a damn Derek Chauvin. Let me pause this right quick so y'all can hear this.
And administrators' actions.
Wake County Public School officials say an employee is suspended tonight after they saw a video that appears to show an administrator putting a knee on a student's neck. It happened after a fight between students at Panther Creek High School in Cary.
CBS 17's Nick Sturdivant live in Cary with more on this. And Nick, tell us more about this video.
Well, Angela, Rod, we're still working to get permission to share that video. And as you mentioned, Rod, that video appears to show a Panther Creek High School staff member placing their knee on a student's neck. It has a lot of people talking about it, and it has a lot of people sharing it.
It was a little confusing for me at first because I'm thinking, with the whole, George Floyd movement, I kind of saw a parallel there.
Jayla Walker is a senior at Panther Creek High School. She says although she did not see the situation unfold, it didn't take long for word and video to get around school.
This incident has risen something in all of us where we kind of don't feel it's very uncomfortable to kind of walk around the school as in school pride.
She's talking about an incident that happened this week at Panther Creek High in Cary. The whole thing was captured on video. We are working to get permission to air. But what I saw appears to be a student laying face first on the ground, an officer on top putting handcuffs on the person, and another adult with their knee on the back of the student's neck.
That was absolutely insane to see, especially someone that I knew, like as an administrator, as our assistant principal.
The video is likely the same incident Panther Creek High School's principal describes in a statement sent to us Thursday. He writes that during lunch on Tuesday, staff responded to a fight between two students. Through video recorded from students and security cameras, he saw a staff member restraining a student by placing a knee on the student's neck. The video was shared with district leadership that evening. They suspended the employee and began an investigation.
I do believe the school has been handling it in a pretty good way.
Jayla told me she decided to repost the original video from Snapchat to TikTok.
If we didn't have a lot of people talking about it, I really don't think it would have been handled in the way that it is currently.
And you guys, the principal also said in the statement, the video appears to depict actions that are deeply concerning. We hold a responsibility to ensure that all students feel safe and respected in our school communities. I did reach out to Cary Police tonight. They told me that no charges have been filed at this time. Live in Cary tonight, Nick Sturtevant, CBS 17 News.
Okay, so y'all just heard that news clip right there. And the person's name who did it, even though they did not say it in this video, but I already knew his name. His name is Jonathan Chang. Let me see if I can find a picture of him. Let's see here. Okay, so this one right here actually has the video right here. Right here. So that's the cop putting the cuffs on the student. And this is the Jonathan Chang who has his knee clearly planted on his neck. Notice the officer is not even telling him to get off of his neck. He's just letting him knee on his neck while he puts the cuffs on him or restrain him. So he can't go anywhere. Like he's literally stuck in a position of submission. And then, like they said in the previous video, no charges have been filed. And of course, the student whose neck he's kneeing on is a black student. Of course, again, not another so surprising situation. And look, suspended with pay. Not without, with. Now, I bet you if this black boy would have swung on Jonathan Chang, they would have been coming out with, oh, that's anti-Asian hate. Kind of reminds me of a commentary I got coming up soon. I actually just recorded a video on that. That's going to be coming up. I'm not going to give y'all an exact date because y'all know how my videos fall. That reminds me just of, not of this situation, but what I just told y'all. And the thing is, he didn't even have to knee on his neck. He chose to do that. He chose to do that. But that is just like what Derek Chauvin did to George Floyd last year. That same exact thing. The only difference is this Jonathan Chang is Asian and Derek Chauvin was PC. But both the people involved were both black, just two different ages, and both men. Well, both males, because the teenager, he's still a boy, he's still a minor. Exactly, Vulcan. But stop Asian hate. And you know what? If they suspended him with pay, I don't expect them to hit him with much of anything. I will be pleasantly surprised if he even gets hit with a misdemeanor charge. Darlene said, but they said we were attacking them. That's what they say. But you know they be lying. They be lying. But we'll see what's to come of this. I don't want to play the rest of the video. I just have it right here where you can clearly see that this guy right here with the khaki pants on is the principal. And he's the assistant principal. He's not a regular teacher. He's the assistant principal, the person who is right next to the principal. But let me move on to the next story. This is going to be a pretty short stream. I predict we'll probably be done with this by 5 o'clock, maybe. Now, let's move on to this bullshit here. This judge, this Judge Michelle Odinet chick, they said that she, hold on, let me go to another one because I ain't paying for not one of these damn ads. They said that this judge right here is on unpaid leave and facing pressure to resign after a home video with racist language surfaced. And this is her right here. Her name is Michelle Odinet or Odinet or whatever. Let me see what they're talking about with her.
A Louisiana judge is blaming sedatives for the onslaught of racist slurs used in a video at her.
Pause it right there. She's blaming sedatives for the reasons as to why she went on her racist rant. This reminds me so much of Roseanne blaming Ambien for why she went on her racist rant. It can never be that they're just who they are. They have to blame it on drugs. She said sedatives made her do this.
Home that recently surfaced. Judge Michelle Odinet says she is sorry and taking an unpaid leave of absence, but insists that she's not quitting the bench. CNN's Ryan Young joins us now. So Ryan, what else is her attorney and what is she saying right now?
Well, you think about this, Caitlin, this video has gone viral. A lot of people asking questions about what was going on inside this home. And I got to tell you, we bleeped a lot of this audio, but some people may find the language they're about to hear pretty offensive. A home video showing outdoor surveillance footage of an altercation with a burglary suspect.
They're like, pull up.
We can't see their faces, but the people are watching and are heard commenting on the video at times using racist language.
And mom's yelling, nigger!
The people who are watching the video are heard using the N-word over and over and sometimes laughing. At one point, saying the suspect was like a roach.
We have a nigger, like a roach.
It all took place at the home of Lafayette City Court Judge Michelle Odinet. It is unknown who recorded the video from the inside of the home or who is speaking and how it became public. Now Odinet is facing calls for her resignation.
I was disgusted.
Local advocate and activist Gary Chambers is among those calling for the judge to step down.
This judge, in the privacy of her home, uses the N-word and refers to people as roaches. That's what she views certain people who come into her courtroom as, and therefore she cannot dispense justice equitably.
Lafayette police say early Saturday morning, 2 vehicles parked on the home's driveway were broken into. The suspect tried fleeing but was caught and held down until officers arrived on the scene.
I'm the one that took him down.
Soon after the video became public, Judge Odinet issued a statement to affiliate KATC saying in part, "I was given a sedative at the time of the video. I have zero recollection of the video and the disturbing language used during it. Anyone who knows me and my husband knows this is contrary to the way we live our lives. I am deeply sorry and ask for your forgiveness and understanding.
I don't know any medicine that makes you call somebody an N-word.
Onyet's lawyer telling local media she is now taking unpaid leave.
I know that there are so many people that have said, oh, she was in her private capacity. That matters not to me, because a black robe does not hide what's obviously in her heart. And we all know, the entire country knows what she thinks about African Americans at this point.
The chairman of the Louisiana Legislative Black Caucus is calling for Onyet's immediate removal, and the local NAACP chapter issued a statement saying, in part, "We call now for her immediate and uncompromising resignation. We demand swift and immediate act by the Judiciary Committee of the Louisiana Supreme Court, removing her from office."
We have requested from the Louisiana Judiciary Commission to place an ad hoc judge there. There's precedent. They've done it before when other racist judges have made comments. You know, I respect the due process, and I will allow for the Judiciary Commission to make their investigation and their findings. But if they don't, I'll be bringing them to the table here at the legislature, because they have to come and answer to us anyway.
Yeah, Caitlin, just last night, the governor actually weighed in as well and thought that she would need to step down after these statements were made in public. So a lot of questions about how to move forward, what happens next. But people in this community are upset about the language they heard on that.
Okay, so that's the whole news clip right there. And I think it was something else right here that's an update to that. So we're going to pull this up. Hold on.
KLFY News 10 at noon.
Good afternoon, and thank you for joining us for News 10 at noon. We begin today with breaking news.
The Louisiana Supreme Court has suspended Lafayette City Judge Michelle Odinet without pay. News 10's Mark Rigsby joins us live with the latest developments. Mark, why did the court step in?
Well, the highest court in the state is basically saying enough is enough. The court is now investigating Judge Odinet, heard on a video taken inside of her home saying racial slurs to describe a man who attempted a burglary, which was caught on security camera. And that video is now all over social media. The state Supreme Court entered the order on Thursday. Judge Odinet is now suspended. The court saying, quote, she is disqualified from exercising judicial functions without salary during the pendency of further proceedings. However, there was a dissenting opinion on this from Judge Jefferson Hughes, who says all of the information on the judge is coming from media reports, and he needs some hard facts. Governor Edwards also called for her resignation on Thursday. Odinet's attorney says she is on an indefinite leave of absence, and she will think about her future. A city judge cannot be recalled. Only the state Supreme Court can remove a judge. However, the court's action on this matter could be the beginning of the end of Judge Odinet on the bench. If you would like to read the Supreme Court's order to suspend Judge Odinet, you can go to our website, klfy.com. We will have much more on this story.
I'll pass. I was listening to the video and looking at the responses in the chat as well. Yeah, she's suspended, granted without pay indefinitely. I mean, one good thing is that they have cut into her funds, but at the same time, she's suspended, which means she could still go back. She could still go back. Now, what's interesting is she might actually have a better chance of going back there even faster than Judge Olu Stevens did when he got suspended for 3 months for doing the right thing. But like I said, what gets me is the fact that she's going to sit up there and tell that bullshit lie that it was sedatives that caused her to go on this rant. No, own your shit. You are just a racist ass bitch. You and your husband. No drugs made you that way. You have always been that way. And they need to go and look at all the proceedings that she's been over that involve Black people and really examine those, like re-examine those cases that she's presided over that dealt with Black people in particular. Because I don't trust it. I do not trust it. Whatever decision she probably came to. And notice she was looking at that video of an attempted break-in, and they were laughing at when the cops had apprehended them and calling them those names and everything like that. Like, they found pleasure and entertainment to that. I would not be surprised if after they watched that video that her and her husband went upstairs and fucked because they got turned on by that. You'll be surprised by what certain people get turned on by. This is probably one of them. Sedative my ass. Henry said, until they take her law license, it doesn't matter. Disbar the witch. I agree. Suspended, that's not enough. Like I said, you cut into her pay, she can't get paid, fine. Remove her altogether. Keeping her on there means you're complicit in what she said. And you're in agreement. You are agreeing to the words in which she said. Volker said, senators don't make you say the N-word. Being a white supremacist does. Exactly. Just like when you have all these PC people say, oh, it was a mental illness that caused me to commit this mass shooting. That's putting an indictment on people who have mental illnesses, who have actual diagnosis, and making it seem like they're crazy. If I had a mental illness, I would not want to be lumped up into that category of them psychos and them sickos. I just wouldn't. Just like, don't throw me and lump me in with POC. That people of color bullshit, don't throw me in there. But we'll see what happens. Talking about a sedative. I'm curious though, because they're probably going to ask her, what sedative did you take that caused you to act in this way? Allegedly. Because I'm curious. I want to know, what sedative did she take? So we can reach out to them and ask them, does your product is one of the symptoms making you a racist? Is you being a racist a symptom of your drug? And I'm willing to bet it's going to be no. Child of Light said, it's been said, shit like this is better than sex for them. Henry's just reading through some of the comments. Talking to Grubber said, I know people with mental health issues and they wouldn't hurt a fly. They're more of a danger to themselves than to anybody else most of the time. Exactly. But see, the thing is, when they say mental health issues and mental illnesses and stuff like that, they always attribute. See, here's the thing: a lot of them live in a fantasy world where they attribute a lot of this stuff to what they see on TV and movies. That's just television and movies, unless it's like loosely based on something. That's just entertainment. Brisa Bo says she took OxyCaren. Yeah, good way. That's a good play on words. But anyway, let's move on to the last story. Like I told you, this is going to be a pretty quick stream. We're not going to be here all day. So the last one I wanted to talk about, and this one right here is wild. This story is insane. And it's been floating around for the last, couple of days. And it happened in a state that I live in. Not in the city or the county I live in, but in the same state that I live in. And that was in Baltimore. And that was involving this man right here who killed his ex-girlfriend and his ex-wife. I want to see if the video is going to play on me. Because this is actually my first time, believe it or not, actually listening to this thing. Even though I had plenty of opportunities to watch it, but I wanted to watch it with a fresh pair of eyes. So I'm going to go ahead and play it and see what he's talking about.
I thought that I would be doing this, but I gotta make it quick. for everybody out there that supported me and really knows what's going on. Thank you all. I've been going through a custody battle. I've been going through having my ex-wife say I molested my children and all kinds of craziness. Been fighting for custody for 3 years. So, shit has been real crazy. What's up, Oliver? You know about this. Going through it with my ex-wife, blah, blah, blah. So, and started dating somebody new, and she got pregnant. And, we got in a fight. First thing she does is threatening that she's going to do the same thing. You're never going to see your kids, blah, blah, blah. It's the holidays, man. I don't have no family, nothing. Anyway, I just did something crazy, man. I just shot my ex-girlfriend in the head, yo. Felt like a dream. Like, I never thought I would be that guy. I can't go to prison. So the person that really started my depression and all of this is my ex-wife. So she next, and then I'm going to do myself too. But I just wanted to say this to people. Don't play with people's emotions, man. Don't lie on these men. Oh, here's my ex-wife right here. Today's
Whoa, I did not expect that ending. Like, that part at the end, like, caught me completely off guard. That is correct. Wow. Did y'all see how that ended? I was not expecting that. I did not expect that ending. That, I gotta literally just process that them last 5 seconds. Like, that caught me completely off guard. Like I told you, this is my first time watching this video. That's why I'm in shock right now. I mean, it's crazy that he got on there and said the reason, what he's going through and the reason as to why he did what he did. And he said that, he, what was going on with his current girlfriend, which, by the way, his current girlfriend that he shot and killed was pregnant with with their child. So that's 2 deaths in one right there. He said that, he said he can't, the minute he said he can't go to prison, that pretty much already let me know that he was going to take himself out. This was going to be a murder-suicide. He already knew what the consequence was going to be if he turned himself in. And they said he was on Facebook Live, so people were watching this in real time. We're watching this happen. And then when he's talking about he's going to go kill his ex-wife and then himself, his ex-wife comes to the door to ask to open it. And he said, oh, there's my ex-wife right there. And she runs back into the house. And he says, keep still. And the video cuts off. And of course, we know he ends up killing her and then kills himself. Like, that is crazy. I could not believe I just watched that. That is wild. And here's the other thing too that I heard. The kids that he had with the ex-wife, the one he just went in there to kill, they were outside in the car. They were in the car. They weren't in the house. They were in the car. Because I'm guessing maybe he was picking them up. And whatever the case may be. And now, I don't know how old the kids are, but imagine if they're young and they're sitting out in that car all that time and they're like, where's my dad at? This almost reminds me of the video that I did, not the video I did, but if y'all remember last week, I had did the live stream. Was it last week or the week before? I can't remember. Where you had the white guy went to his ex's house to go get his son. And he was basically saying, you're keeping my son away from me and everything like that. And then all of a sudden, the new boyfriend comes out with a shotgun. He shoots it one time at the floor. And then the next shot he takes is on the father of the child. And he kills him right there on camera in front of the house while the child is in the house. This kind of reminds me of that. Only difference is the person who's pulling the trigger is the father. So to be honest, I'm gonna be like kind of neutral with this. I see why he did it, but I'm also mad that he did it. I see the reason he gave in the video, if that is indeed true, and it most likely could be true, that if his ex, the mother of the children, was keeping him away from his kids, she was definitely wrong in that aspect to keep this man from his kids, and he wanted to see them. And we see that this happens way too often in various different communities, but I'm going to talk about the Black community in particular, since that's the focal point. The women out there, y'all have got to stop doing that to these men who want to be in their children's lives. Because then you have situations that turn out like this. And for all we know, this could have been a good guy. He could have been a great father, a great man, to like a great friend, whatever the case may be. But when you turn someone who is great and nice all the time, or someone like, you flip that switch and you pull that trigger or that triggering point, it's game over after that. I've always said one thing you don't want to do is piss off a person who's always calm, because you never know what they're thinking. You never know what they might be plotting. Like, this guy planned to do this. He had this planned out. And you even saw in the video, he said that he has no family. He has no one he can talk to. He said his depression kicked in with his ex-wife. He said that's where the depression kicked in, was with his ex-wife. He said he was fine, but when he got with her and over the years, she's the one that triggered his depression. Exactly, Tom Petty. He pretty much gave up on life. He gave up. You can tell by his tone that he gave up. He didn't have a lot of energy. He sounded defeated. He sounded like he was at the end of his rope. He said, this is the end right here. Now I'm going to tell you why I don't like why he did this. Because now the kids have nobody. They're orphaned. I don't know if they have any family that they can go to, like a grandparent or maybe an uncle or an aunt or whatever the case may be. But if they don't, they are going to end up in the system. And they're going to be traumatized about this for the rest of their lives. They're going to have to go through life having to hear about their dad killing not only their mother, but another woman that they probably grew fond of, who was the current girlfriend, who was pregnant with what would have been their sibling. And this is exactly why I always say that Black people, we need therapy. We need to do mental health checks. Whenever someone says that they're fine, don't just go off of face value that they're fine, because a lot of times they're not fine. Tawana said he had a history of violence and the victims were Asian women. Yeah, I did know that the ex-wife and the girlfriend were both Asian. I did know that because I saw their pictures. And it says there's another ex who he also beat repeatedly. See, now that part right there, I didn't know. That part I did not know. And if that is indeed true, that's not a good look for him either. But you know what they said? Dead men don't talk. And neither can his exes, because they're now dead too. But I feel bad for his kids. At this point, like, I feel bad for his kids because they literally lost all their parental figures in one day. They lost their stepmother, who I guess you could say who was their stepmother. They lost their real mother, and they lost their dad all in one day. And a sibling. So that's 4 people that they lost in one day. Right, Vulcan? Like I said, in the video, when you hear him talking, he had no emotion. He was completely nonchalant. Even when he went into the house to go kill the ex-wife, he was calm with that too. No energy at all. He just went, he was like, I know what I'm here to do. But yeah, it's a sad situation all the way around. But yeah, like I said, that was my first, honest to God, that was my first time watching this video in its entirety with, with sound and everything. So that's why when that part at the end with his ex-wife coming to the door and him running in, that's what like literally when he ran in, I'm actually kind of glad that the video cut off right there, because I could not bear to witness him going after her, chasing her with a gun and just popping her off while they were still on the live. And who knows, it probably actually did happen on the full unedited live, but because this is being posted on a news website, they probably just cut it off at that point. But to those watching, they probably actually witnessed it happen. Yeah, both of them were Asian on Vulcan. They didn't, to me, they didn't look like they were fully Asian, but they definitely looked like they had some Asian ancestry for sure. But yeah, like I said, all I feel bad about is those kids. They gonna, like I said, they're gonna be traumatized. They're gonna have to live with this for the rest of their life. Now they are gonna have to get into some therapy real soon. Shout out, like you said, I don't condone what he did. However, you can't be playing with folks' emotions. That's what I said. That's why I said I'm being neutral, because I gave my reasoning as to I see why he did it, and I'm also seeing why he should not have done it. So I'm being neutral on this, because some people will lean more one way or lean the other way, but I see both sides of it. But at the end of the day, one thing we can all concede to is that the children are left without parents. And that's the saddest part of the whole situation. That's one thing I hate, is when kids can get dragged into their parents' drama. That's one of the worst things. I'm so glad and fortunate that that did not happen with me. But with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and end the live on that note. That was the last story I wanted to talk about. I appreciate everybody coming through. We knocked out another week in the books on the live stream. I'm saying this now, but I'll reiterate it next week. Next Friday, there will not be a live stream. I'm going to definitely put that in the community tab next week, and just saying that there will not be a live stream next Friday. Also, I will let y'all know, as far as the poll goes, that I made yesterday, on what day I'm going to decide to on what weekend day, Saturday or Sunday, I'm going to decide to upload videos on that particular day, and which day I'm not going to. It's either going to be Saturday or Sunday. A lot of you gave me good reasonings as to why Sunday should be the day, and I'm leaning more towards that, but we'll see what comes of that. If y'all are new, make sure y'all go ahead and subscribe. If you haven't done so already, hit that bell. Make sure, if you aren't subscribed on my main channel, to go and subscribe over there as well. I would greatly appreciate that as well. Y'all enjoy the rest of your day. Enjoy your weekend, and I will talk to you all later.